Hello, hello, blessings. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Lord Jesus. See, this is what I be talking about. My engineer. Blessings, everyone. How are y'all doing? Blessings, blessings, blessings. I know that my engineer, I tell y'all, I kid you not, it is something special today. Fired. Just fired. I can't even begin to tell you how fired she is today. Let me go ahead and get this going. I don't know what just happened, but it did not do what it was supposed to do. Hello there, Tashira. Hello there, Aunt Terry. How are y'all doing today? Blessings, everyone. Blessings to you. Blessings. Just trying to make sure we are live on everything. Okay, because we did not get and I don't know why we did not get hello, everybody. Hey there, Minister Marie. How are you doing? Blessings, everyone. Blessings. I know, right? I'm telling y'all, she fired. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whatever, Tashira, she fired. Fired. I'm telling you. Because I just asked her. A question. She ain't answered nothing. Boy, I tell you, I'm done. I'm done, y'all. All right, y'all. Let us go ahead and get into this because this woman, whew, I'm saying, put in your applications. That's all I can say. Put in your applications. Put in your applications to be my new engineer. Put in for it. It's a very lucrative job. It pays very well. She doesn't care, obviously, because she getting paid big bucks. And we ain't seen anything. She fired. Nevertheless, hey y'all, welcome to Remnant Mentality Ministries. My name is Angela Hendricks. I am the senior leader here. This is where God is equipping the saints, educating the saints, empowering the saints, and encouraging them all at the same time. And you don't want to miss anything that is happening. All right. And so if you have not already, because you're here, if you have not already, go ahead and follow. Okay. If you are watching us from Instagram or Twitter, go ahead and follow those pages. Turn on your notifications. If you are on Facebook, I need you to go and come out, like the page, and then go ahead and turn on your notifications for all live notifications. All right. All live notifications. And then if you are watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And when you hit that subscribe button, there is a notification bell right on the side of it. Hit the notification bell that has the little parentheses on either side, because that means you will get all of the notifications. Every time we go live, you will get it. All right. So we will get y'all hooked up. And then if you want to connect to everything that Remnant Mentality is doing, all right, you want to go ahead and text the word connect to 346-229-0322. That's 346-229-0322. When you text the word connect to 346-229-0322, you are going to get a series of texts. All right. One of the texts being a welcome, and then you're going to get another text. That text is going to be the one that has a hyperlink. All right. That hyperlink. Come on and hit the like button. Come on here, Tashira. Come on here, be the moderator. So hit that like button, all right, if you have not already. But nevertheless, you're going to get a series of text when you do that, all right? And so the text with the hyperlink is the one you're going to hit. Hit the hyperlink. It's going to ask you for your name and your email address, and then you submit it, and then it's going to give you another series of text, and then it's going to ask you what you want to be notified of. We have prayer on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's intercessory prayer. You come with your prayer request, and then you have prayer warriors that are going to stand and pray with you. And then we have Bible study Tuesday and Wednesday night. Tuesday night at 8 Central Standard Time, and then Wednesday night at 9 Central Standard Time. And look here, you don't want to miss anything that we have going on. So make sure you are locked in. And also we have fast. As a matter of fact, we have a fast starting tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah. It's been a lot going on, y'all. If you don't know, I apologize that you don't know. So I did not send out the reminder, but you're going to get a reminder tonight. That's automatic. It's going to go out tonight, giving you the link for in the morning when we go live in the morning. All right. So every morning, a part of this 7-day fast, you're going to get a link the night before. And then you click on the link that morning and you'll be right in the mix with the fast. All right. And we have a 21-day fast at the end of the year, but we have these quarterly fasts. Blessings to you, Vanessa. So you don't want to miss any of these fasts. You don't want to miss what's going on, but every morning we're going to get you set up to be on the right track with your fast. All right. And you don't want to miss that. So if nothing else, come on and get into on these fasts once a quarter. And then if we need to pop up one extra one, we're going to do that. But we definitely are going to be doing once a quarter. And then we're going to tap into the 21 days at the end of the year to prepare for the next year. So without further ado, y'all, let us get into this word, man. Oh, let's get into this word. So as you all know, we have been in this series called Old Timothy. All right. Old Timothy has been the series. And if you have been following us, you know that this is Paul writing to Timothy. And I thought that we need to check this out because Paul was getting ready to check out. All right. And he felt like his last letter needed to be to Timothy. All right, to Timothy. Hey there, Miss Christine, blessings to you. So with that, I said, this is important and we might need to see the little tidbits of what it is that Paul had to say to Timothy. So we have been really doing some stuff. Today, as you can see, this installment is called Be a Vessel. All right, be a vessel. And we are in week 5, be a vessel. And so when we say be a vessel, we know we see so many people doing so many things in the church. We see them doing so many things outside of the church. We see so much stuff going on. And it makes us like, oh man, I see how God is using them. I see how things are happening for them and things of that nature. Well, Paul has decided to encourage Timothy because the master in this particular platform that we're talking about is God. God is looking, all right, for those who have been set aside, those that have been put in place, in position to be able to be cleansed and used. All right. So he's not just looking for those that are available, because a lot of people make themselves available, somewhat available, but he's not looking for available vessels. He is looking for those that he can prepare. All right. Vessels of honor. All right. He's preparing honorable vessels. And this is something that a lot of people don't want to be a part of. Those are the vessels that are clean enough and suitable enough and ready enough to carry what he wants to pour through them. And so when we look into this, we are looking at Paul tell Timothy, look here, you can't just stir the gift and ignore, all right, the vessel. Because there are a lot of people, and we see it all the time, where they have stirred up the gift. All right. So the gift is being stirred. The gift is there. It's being stirred. And the thing that is so trying is that the vessel has not been cleansed. They ignored cleansing the vessel. They just want to use the gift. And the gift is good. And the gift is going to make way for you to go into rooms. But the thing that sustains you in the room that your gift has prepared for you, all right, is going to be the way that your vessel has been prepared. And the only one that can prepare your vessel is God himself. And so on today, we are looking at the fact that Paul wants to do this for Timothy. He wants to make sure Timothy is in a place to be used by God. So 2 Timothy is Paul's final letter. All right. Final letter to his son in the faith. Paul is in prison. He knows that he's getting ready to pass away soon because folks are getting ready. He's getting ready to be executed. And he knows that there's a whole bunch of false teachings going around. And he knows that a whole lot of people are leaving. They're leaving. They're not coming back. And Timothy is going to have to leave. You know, he's in this very, very difficult time. So he writes to encourage him. He says, hey, look, I need you to start a gift. Don't operate in fear, endure hardness, and then it's rightly divide the word and separate yourself from dishonorable things. When Paul talks about vessels in this context, he's not just talking about church attendance. He's talking about usefulness. All right. He's talking about usefulness in a great way. All right. So there are many vessels, and he's going to talk about that. There are many vessels, but there are not too many vessels that are fit for the same use. All right. So there are going to be a whole lot of vessels. You'll see a lot of people in the church. Everybody that is in there is some form of a vessel, but everybody has its own way of being used, right? And so there are certain vessels that have to be prepared certain ways. And so Timothy is going to be used by the master. If he's going to be used by the master, he must be cleansed, he must be sanctified, he must be suitable, and he must be prepared. And so these are the things that a lot of people don't talk about. These are the things that a lot of people go in the church. They want you to understand that, hey, I'm here. I need to be used. Just because you are in the church don't mean that you need to be used. There's some issues with your vessel. And if you've not submitted yourself to be cleansed, to be prepared, to be meat for the master's use, you're going to hurt people. You're going to bleed on people. So we so busy wanting to be used because we have this beautiful gift, but yet we don't want the gift to be subject and to be processed by God enough to be used. So there is a cleansing process that has to take place. And he's telling Timothy, as my son, I need you to be cleansed. I don't need you to give way to everything that's going on. There's a lot of false teachers in the land right now. Those who started out with us. And then he even names them. If you go and you read 2 Timothy chapter 2, he even names 2 of them that have started out with them. Not yet. See, that's what I'm talking about. Not even listening. This is what I'm saying. He talks about 2 of them, right? In 2 Timothy chapter 2, he talks about 2 of them. As he's talking about them, he's saying that they started out with us, but they have gone on and they've created some other whole doctrine, some stuff that doesn't even make sense. He says, but they're going to be dealt with, And so he's warning Timothy about those things. He's warning him about the way that the enemy can come in and taint you if you've not been processed, if you've not been cleansed by the master. There are a lot of vessels. Look, let's make it clear. All right. Let's make it clear because I don't want anybody to miss this. Let's make it real clear because if you remember when you were younger, I know where I'm from. When you were younger, there might have been a china cabinet in your house. Anybody had a china cabinet in their house and you couldn't touch nothing in that china cabinet. Nothing. Touch it if you want to. It's grounds for a beat down. You don't touch nothing in the china cabinet. Now we got all these plates, all these things in here. You better use that stuff, but you don't touch the stuff that is in the china cabinet. You don't touch that. For some reason, that was just off limits. That was for special occasions in some houses. Some houses that housed the silver, the real silver. It housed the real china. And so everything in the house has its place. Every vessel has its place. There's some vessels that are special. We don't just do anything with those vessels. Even in the first tabernacle that was built of just the tent that was built for the Lord to dwell. Even in that, there were certain things that were gold plated. They were made common materials, and then they were gold plated to let you know these were special. You don't play with these. there are vessels as unto honor for the master's use. And then there are those that can be used by whoever, whatever. There were certain people who could carry the things of the temple. When they got ready to break down the tabernacle, they break down the tabernacle so that they can keep moving to the promised land. But as they stopped everywhere, that there were people who were there to put up certain areas. And then there were those who were ordained to carry the sacred things, but they couldn't touch them with their bare hands because they weren't priests. The priest had to prep the items because only the priest could be able to touch the sacred items. The sacred vessels could not be touched by anybody. There had to be poles that were stuck into the Ark of the Covenant. There were poles that were stuck into the altar, and they would carry them on their shoulders. Blessings, Mother Chambers. They would carry them on their shoulders because they weren't able to touch the actual vessels as unto honor. They couldn't touch those things. Even though they were ordained, God said, hey, you're going to carry the sacred things, but you can't touch them. After the priest packs them up, then you can use the poles to carry them. So everything in the house has its use, but there's certain things that have been cleansed and set apart for special use. And so there are levels to this thing. There's a way that you have to put or make yourself to be apart from others. And so that's what we're looking at today. So you can turn over. You heard that? You can turn over now to 2 Timothy chapter 2. Thank you. Thank you very much. I tell you what, it's hard to hire good help. I tell you, your money don't go as far as it used to, y'all. It just don't go as far as it used to. So when we look at 2 Timothy chapter 2, starting at verse 20 to 22, Paul has just broke down some things to Timothy, and he was telling them some of the things that were wrong, but now he's going to go into what you need to do to make sure that you're not in the same arena as them. All right. And so he goes over here and he says, but in a great house, there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth. All right. And some to honor and some to dishonor. If a man therefore purge himself from these, talking about those things that are of dishonor, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. Now let's go back to verse 20 real quick, because verse 20 says, but in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth. All right. So this is him making these metaphors for what it is that is happening. He's trying to get Timothy to understand where he's going with this. He says, look, there are vessels. There are always going to be vessels in the house. There's always going to be vessels that you can use. He says there's some made out of gold and some made out of silver and some made out of wood. That's just how it is. There's always going to be vessels. He says now, and some to honor and some to dishonor. All right. So there are going to be people that you are going to see used in the church. You're going to see people that are used in the church and they are not quite where they need to be. This is why he's telling him, because remember, the first thing that we talked about is stir up the gift. All right. And he's telling him now, don't stir that gift up until you deal with this vessel. Don't stir that gift up if you're not going to deal with the vessel. Don't get out here and be playing in my Father's streets. Don't get out here thinking that I'm going to do what I want to do and not do what it is that God sent me to do. And I'm going to do it haphazardly and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it because this is just the way God made me. Hey there, how you doing, Miss Phoenicia? How you doing? I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. But this is what we're talking about. You're going to find people who say with their mouths, I represent God. You will even see them prophesy. You will see them preach the high heavens down to earth. You will see them do all these things, but their vessel is marred. Their vessel is not as unto honor. What does that look like? It looks like I have no discipline. I have no discipline with my mouth. I say whatever I want to say. I say whatever I want to say. And yeah, I'm still going to teach you. Yes, I'm still going to preach to you. Yes, I'm still going to prophesy to you. This is just the way God made me. And if you don't like it, you take it up with God. The devil is a liar. That is not the way of God at all. That is not a vessel as unto honor. There are those that are as of honor and those that are of dishonor. And he's trying to get him to understand the difference, because you're going to see many people who profess with their mouths. The Bible tells us they'll profess with their mouths God, but in their hearts, they're far from him. And so this is where he's telling him right now, we cannot be in a place where we're not allowing God to fully take charge. You know, we can't allow him to not be able to fully take charge. And so here we have in verse 21, let's go ahead to, hey there, Chad, how you doing? Blessings to you. Come on here. So we see here in verse 21, it says, if a man therefore purge himself from these, talking about those dishonorable things, all right, those dishonorable places, there has to be a purging. So if a man therefore purge himself from these, those dishonorable things, the things that come to make you do things that do not profess God, he says he shall be a vessel unto honor. You got to be purged. That means you have to be cleansed. He says, sanctified and meet for the master's use and prepared unto every good work. Let's look at this verse and let's just break this verse down real quick. Number one. All right. Number one, what it says here in number one, he says, a vessel unto honor, a vessel unto honor. That means you cannot be common. You cannot be contaminated. All right. You cannot be dishonorable. That means you are set apart for a noble use. You're not just out here willy-nilly saying one thing, but your heart is spewing something else. The moment the pressure gets turned up, what comes out of you? The moment all hell breaks loose, what comes out of you? When you stub your toe in the middle of the night trying to make it to the bathroom or just trying to get out of a room, what comes out of you? That's a true test right there, baby. When you stub that toe and no cuss words come out, baby, look here. Woo! You know, that's a good one right there. But this is what happens though. When you are a vessel unto honor, you're not common. People can't compare you with common things, common people. There's something that sets you apart because you didn't make yourself common. I tell y'all all the time about access. The level of access you give somebody will give them the opportunity to kill you. Keep that in mind. And that's not just strangers off the street. I'm talking about family. I'm talking about friends. The level of access. You calling everybody a friend. Some of them people just associates. If you want the truth be told, because you can only show a certain aspect of yourself to them. If you can't be your whole self, then there's levels to this. You understand there are levels. How you calling them your friend? And if they can only see certain sides of you. You ain't telling them everything. You're only telling them sides of you. Because if they knew everything, would they still be your friend? There are levels to this thing. And so you cannot be common. You can't sound like, walk like, talk like everybody else. And it's okay. I don't have a problem with that. You're not contaminated, meaning that you don't have stuff in you that is going to contaminate the next person because I'm in pain, because I don't understand my identity, because I'm not prepared and ready to do what needs to be done. And I'm out here trying to teach somebody something. I'm out here trying to do something. I'm bleeding on them. I'm not being effective. I'm contaminated. You're also contaminated when you continue to live a life that you know is not in alignment with the will of God for your life. And you can't be dishonorable. That means, who do you represent? When you look in the mirror, do you see your Father? When people hear you speak, do they hear the Father? Do they hear the one that you serve? And who is it that you're serving? Because if out of your mouth, every time something comes out of your mouth, come on, hey there, Miss Diana, how you doing? Blessings to you. Blessings, Miss Shanika, how you doing? Look here. If the things that are coming out of your mouth dishonor the God that you serve, there's a problem. If can't nobody tell that you saved by at least the way that you carry yourself, the words that you speak should say something, but some people got words down pat. They just ain't got the living down pat. You know, they just don't have that part down pat. And so number 2, when we're looking at this verse here, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 21, he says, sanctified. Number 2, sanctified. That means set apart for God's purpose. You have to be set apart. That's what sanctified means. It's a cleansing process that you're going to. Number 3, we talk about Hebrews 12 and 14. Yes, ma'am. We'll look at that. So, in number 3, it says meat for the master's use. That means that word meat right there, that word meat. All right. It's not the English version that we know, but the King James version back then, they are using that word to describe what is being said here in the text. And that word means fit, useful, suitable, serviceable. Fit, useful, serviceable, suitable for the master's use. Ready. Are we ready? Are we meat? Are we meat? Are we fit? Are we useful? Are we suitable? Are we serviceable? Are we ready? That's a prayer point right there. Somebody just say, Lord, make me meat. Lord, make me meat. M-E-E-T. Yeah, make me meat. We've heard this phrase before when we talk about meat, but these are two different things, but it uses the same word. The English word that is used is using the same word because the word that says, because he talks about making someone for the man that is a help meet. He's talking about somebody that is suitable, somebody who can stand with him, somebody on the same level as him. Here, he's talking about, because that was Hebrew. Here in the Greek, this word meat is talking about fit, useful, suitable, serviceable, and ready. Are you ready? Are you fit? And this fitness, it's not just about your physical fitness. It's not just about you knowing a whole bunch of scriptures, because I know people who know every scripture in the Bible, but can't apply it to their own life to save their life. Can't apply it. Cannot know it, but can't apply it. What good is it to know it and not be able to apply it? I need some people that know 2 or 3 words and just apply it. More so than knowing this word and not being able to use it. You're dangerous when you know this word and you know how to apply it to your life. You're dangerous. You become something else then. Number 4, he says, in number 4, he says that you are prepared unto every good work. That means you're not just called, but you're prepared. That means he's doing the work. You're not just gifted, but you're ready. There are a lot of people who have prophetic giftings. There are a lot of people who have teaching gifts. There's a lot of people who have a whole lot of different giftings. But if you have not been cleansed, that word purged, if you have not been cleansed, because you have to be fit. All right. You have to be fit. You have to be meat. Lord, make me meat. Verse 22. Let's go on down. Verse 22, because we're almost done. It says, flee also youthful lusts. All right. But follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. I need you to understand that I think a lot of people feel like, well, I'm not doing all the stuff that I used to do. I used to drink, smoke, fornicate. I used to be out here doing all kinds of stuff. I used to do that. I don't do that stuff no more. He just told him the key factor here. He says, flee also youthful lusts. All right. He says, flee them. And then he says, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. It's one thing for you to say, I'm not doing those things no more, and you push away from it. But if you're not chasing after the righteousness of God, because in our own selves, we are as a filthy rag. That's why we need his righteousness. So we can stop doing all that stuff. We can stop doing it, and we can think that we are perfect. But if we're not pursuing his righteousness, we're falling short. You can flee. You can stop it. You can do all that stuff. You can say, I ain't doing that no more. God, I'm done. I'm done. But if you're not following after or chasing after righteousness, it's in vain. You're going to find yourself back in the same pit all over again. And it becomes a cycle. And saints don't do cycles. We do seasons, not cycles. And so we find ourselves here again and again and again because we are fleeing from our youthful lusts, but we're not chasing after the righteousness. We're not chasing after faith. We're not chasing after charity, which means love. We're not chasing after peace. We're not chasing those things that God has set up for us to win every single time. And if we're not careful, we'll continue to stay in that same vein. And that's something that we don't want, we don't need. And we need to make sure that we are allowing God to purge what needs to be purged. All right. When we begin to think about this, I want you to understand that the only reason that we can even think about being a vessel as unto honor is because Jesus Christ did it first. Jesus Christ made himself a vessel. He made himself a vessel of service. He a sacrifice. He made himself a vessel of sacrifice just for us. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, let this cup pass from me. And then he didn't stop there. See, he didn't stop there because he had to chase after. And so he says, but nevertheless, he's going to do it. Nevertheless, he drank from the cup. He drank and became the vessel of sacrifice so that when we sit here and we say, Lord, I can't do it. I've tried to stop and something just keeps pulling me back. He says, look here, resist the enemy and he will flee. He gives you scripture. He gives you his strength. He says, in your weakness, my strength becomes made perfect. It becomes perfect because you can't do it. Jesus Christ did it because you couldn't do it. Your blood means absolutely nothing, but he became a vessel of sacrifice so we can become a vessel as unto honor, sanctified, meat for the master's use. So what he's telling Timothy in all of this, because I'm done, y'all. I'm done. Hey there, Trees, how you doing? What he's telling him in all of this is that if you can't do anything else, Timothy, because you don't feel like you have it in you to do, if you can't do anything else, I need you. Start a gift, but don't forget that you got to deal with the vessel. That vessel has to be dealt with. That vessel has to be cleansed. It has to be purged in order for you to do the honorable things of God. Everybody wants to be used, but don't nobody want to be purged. Because with the purging, you know, when you go and you're say you're cleaning a bucket, when you're cleaning a bucket and it has all this mud in it and you spraying and that bucket starts to fill up, and what starts to come up out of that bucket? You're putting clean water in. All this clean water is going into this muddy bucket, but what's coming out of the bucket? More mud. It looks like it's getting worse than better. Then eventually, with the purging process of the clean water, eventually you'll start to see some clean water. The water starts to be able to not be as murky. But it takes some purging. Sometimes it's going to take a little elbow grease. You know, it's going to take a little something, a little scrubbing, you know, a little extra added stuff. But God has everything you need to get you to the place that you need to be for him to use you as a vessel of honor so he can pour through you. Yeah. You want to be used. The house is filled with vessels, but there's some vessels that are vessels of honor because they've allowed God to purge them. They've allowed God to put them in position to be purged. No, it's not going to feel good. You know how people always say, oh, he gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Baby, sometimes I don't feel that strong. So I don't subscribe because I know that it's him. He is my strength. The only reason that I can be looked at as a strong soldier is because I refuse to give up. Because I refuse to let the enemy win. I know I may have been through hell and high water, but I don't look like what God has brought me through. I don't sound like what I've been through. Simply because there's a purging process. What's in you may not have even been cultivated without the pressures of life. Without the elements getting to you, without the sun beating on you, without your circumstances feeling like they're crushing you, some things that are in you will never be brought to the forefront until you feel the crushing of the purge, the cleansing process, the purification that God needs for you to be a vessel of honor. Look here, it's important. It's important. So look here, I'm done. I have nothing else to say. I want you to understand that when it comes to this, you have to know that God is in a place that he can do whatever needs to be done. Whatever needs to be done, he can do it. Will you allow him to make you meet? That's the key phrase today. Lord, make me meet. Make me meet. It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you're not going to see persecution. I'm not saying that you're not going to see some things and feel some things, experience some things that no one should ever have to go through. But what I'm telling you is that your strength is in Christ Jesus. What I'm telling you is his sacrifice made it to where you have a sacrifice. You can be a sacrifice. M-E-E-T. M-E-E-T, mama. Yeah. Blessings, Mother Chambers. Look here. Oh, Onika, my sister, you understand There's a crushing. In the purging, there's a crushing. But what comes out, what gets up after that is beautiful and it's needed. Somebody needs your testimony because somebody is going through what you made it through and they need your testimony. Yeah, that's it. Make me meet because I want to be pleasing. I want to be able to be effective in what it is that God has meant for me to do in this earth. And I can't be that until I've been purged, till this vessel has been made a vessel as unto honor. So look, I pray that this word has met you right where you needed it. I pray that it said something to you. And if you have not already, share this with somebody. Because look here, that's how we give, all right? If you've not already, sow a seed of sharing this broadcast with somebody. If you've not sown a seed of sharing this broadcast, that is a blessing to us. Because what that's going to do, it's going to break up this algorithm. It's going to get us out here so that this word can go forth, so God's word can be heard, so others can be encouraged. Don't keep it all to yourself. Share this with at least one other person. One other person will not hurt you. All right. Look, I pray that something was said that is going to get you to your next, that's going to allow you to be used, to be meat for the master's use. Nobody likes the process, but everybody likes the attention for some reason. But there's a process. For you to be effective, there's a process. And it might mean you going down in the trenches, you staying on your face, on your knees, praying, crying out to God. God, I don't have it in me. I don't have the strength. I don't have this. I don't have that. And he says, good, I got you just where I need you to be. Because I don't need you. I need you to be a vessel. I need to purge you so I can stand up. Yeah. So I pray something was said. Look, somebody is live here at Remnant Mentality Ministries every single week, and you don't want to miss it. All right. You don't want to miss it. And so if you've not already subscribed on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe, do what needs to be done over there. If you have not followed us on X or on Instagram, we're live in those areas. If you have not followed us on Facebook, do that. If you have not gotten connected, all right, you can text the word connect to 346-229-0322, and that will get you in the know. Follow the prompts, all of the prompts. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting in limbo. You're not going to get any notifications. But do that. Come on here, Trees. Yes, he will. He will keep you in the process. Yeah, somebody's live every single day of the week. You don't want to miss it. All right. You don't want to miss what it is that God is doing in this hour. And they bring a word just like that from God to us. And you don't want to miss it. They'll tell you what day they go live. They'll tell you what time they go live. Me, I'm here every Sunday between 2:30 and 3. I hit that go live button. I'm right here with you. All right. So until next time, y'all. Bye.